It is. This is fascinating, though, John Heilman, because, I mean, this is Reagan. This is where Reagan would always go. This is where every sort of conservative star used to go. And then at some point, it became obvious that it was going far afield. And again, you would have, it became a libertarian gathering, not a Republican or a conservative. And that's when you'd have Ron Paul and Rand Paul, start winning every presidential poll there, straw poll there. And they're just it's just sort of this feeling like, seriously, am I going to really waste my time at CPAC when, they're going further and further mainstream? But they still held on to mainstream Republicans until this year. And now it is interesting how many are just saying no.
Yeah, I actually think, Joe, that it's not that. Yes, there's always been that kind of that cranky libertarian thing that popped up at CPAC, and it's also always had that kind of whatever the flavor of college broheme conservatism was in any given year. But really, what happened to CPAC over the course of the last decade was it became MPAC. It became MAGA, the MAGA Political Action Committee conference and committee. Frankly, Trump first spoke there in 2011. And was received rapturously with the early kind of larval version of what became the Make America Great Again Trump platform. It was, attacking China, attacking immigrants, birtherism, all that stuff. And Trump was at that point trying to figure out, as you pointed out on the show so many times, not person to person, had never been a Republican, had never been a conservative. CPAC became the sort of the kind of workshop for his early political development. He's like, I'm going to be a political figure. I'm going to try to figure out how to be a Republican now. And his version of conservatism, his version of radical, grievance-based, nationalist, jingoist politics kind of took shape there. And every time he would come in 2011, he was so rapturous received in 11 that he thought about getting into the race in 12 in a more serious way than a lot of people believe. And then in 12, 13, 14, 15, everyone he came back, every time there was a bigger crowd, every time they liked the message more, that was the launching pad for him. And he has owned that place, basically, lock, stock, and barrel, ever since then. So the fascinating thing right now is not only that a lot of these stars are staying away, Trump's going to have still going to have his big stage on Saturday night, so we'll get to see whether he's really lost his fastball or whether he's back. But a lot of people are just kind of like, let Trump have it. This wants to be the Trump pack. Go forth and do whatever you're going to do with Matt Schlapp and have fun over there while we go out. Ron DeSantis goes out and hits the book trail, and Vice President Pence goes to South Carolina, and Chris Sununu stays far away, and others decide that's not the party must change. Here's a good place to start: take away CPAC's power.
Well, and of course they're also going to all be going to talk to donors at Club for Growth, but that in a minute. Mark McKinnon, conservative, I've said for such a long time, there's very little that's conservative about CPAC. They again had this sort of college libertarian thing going. But if you're ideologically based at all, how do you go from being like pure as driven snow, supporting libertarians, to then going in the authoritarian streak as hard as you can, and your new heroes are Donald Trump and Viktor Orban?
Oh my God!
I mean, and not only have they been worshiping a guy in Viktor Orban, both here and by having these things over in Hungary, they're worshiping a guy politically who said he doesn't believe in Western democracy anymore, that he's a champion of illiberalism and illiberal democracy. I mean, Ronald Reagan, that is, you and I know this, maybe some of these so-called conservatives don't know it, that is literally the antithesis of Ronald Reagan and Reaganism. What Orban, what Trump preaches there, this sort of authoritarianism in waiting, is the exact opposite of what Reagan and what these people who originally set CPAC up were supposed to believe in.
Well, John McCain's rolling over in his grave. But also, Joe, I think I'm correct in noting that Bolsonaro is going to be speaking. So it's not just autocrats. It's other election deniers from foreign countries. So, as you said, it's so contrary to the traditional ideology that we've known over the years through Reagan, through Bush, through McCain. And again, as John talked about, you see the evolution of Donald Trump and where he started and the evolution through CPAC. It's hard to figure out where the ideological moorings are. But again, also, as John pointed out, this is his home turf. And if I were a strategist for somebody like Ron DeSantis, what I would say is, what should we do that week? How about a book tour? Let's don't go to his home turf. Let's create our own platform and our own bullhorn and show that we've got our own strength in another sphere.
It's exactly what DeSantis is doing. His book is out today. He's on a book tour, and you're right that Bolsonaro will be at CPAC this week. So, Jen, what's your assessment of what's going on here? We know it's likely not the allegations against Matt Schlapp. By that standard, they would have walked away from Donald Trump a long time ago if sexual misconduct bothered them that much. So is it just that CPAC has become such a Star Wars bar in recent years that they don't want to be a part of it? I
think a lot of them would get booed. Right? Like, if Mike Pence shows up at CPAC, like, what is going to happen? What's going to happen to him? If Mitch McConnell showed up at CPAC, I think he would get booed too. So I think that some of them are probably concerned about that. And then also just, if it is going to be such a Trump home game, it's a little bit humiliating. I mean, I've been in presidential campaigns where you're working for underdogs and you want to have them present something new. And DeSantis is definitely, he is definitely doing that. He is not, I don't think he's going to Club for
Growth. Yeah.
Glub.
Again, it's
easy for me to say. But he is, he's got a MAGA. He's the only one that has a true MAGA record to run on, and he's playing his own game.